Predictably Irrational.
Hello everyone, welcome to this episode of Predictably Irrational, our effort to understand human behavior. This video is a project for critical thinking class we are taking at a university in Japan. Today, me too, Wito, Owen and Rock are going to talk to you about Chapter 8, Keeping Doors Open. Why options distract us from our main objective? From Dan Ariely's book, Predictably Irrational. We hope this episode will help you be just a bit less predictably irrational. Okay, here we go.
Thanks, too, for your wonderful introduction. Now let's make a summary about this chapter. Vito, take it.
Thank you, Mr. Trump. I will give you guys a short summary of our topic. In this chapter, Dan Ariely discusses the concept of keeping doors open, which refers to the tendency of people to avoid closing off options, even when it may be in their best interest to do so. Ariely explores how people often hesitate to commit on a single course of action, preferring to keep multiple options open, often due to the fear of missing out or making the wrong decision. This desire to keep doors open can lead to suboptimal decisions and increased stress. For example, when you buy a computer, a majority of people would try to get as many functions as possible. Good graphic cards, a lot of storage space, and the best specs overall. However, when it comes to using the PC, they only use it for watching movies, working on school assignments, or the occasional game of Candy Crush. They get all those functions in fear of the possibility that they might need those in the future and overpay in the process. To find out more about how people try to keep options available, Dan Ariely and his colleagues conducted an experiment with a simple computer game. He paid the participants based on their performance in said game. In the game, the participants were faced with 3 doors, and they had 100 clicks to go through those doors. When they clicked on the door, the click counter would go down, and they would get a different payout for each of the 3 doors. Since the payouts were different, they had to determine what door would give the highest payout and stick with it. Most participants quickly determined the, best door and did pretty well overall. However, he conducted this experiment again with an additional condition. When a door would be left unattended for 12 clicks, it would disappear forever. This made the participants try to keep all doors alive. They kept clicking on each of the doors before they disappear, almost forgetting about the reward of each door. They were afraid of losing options, even though the return on those options were not great. The takeaway from this chapter is that we have too many options that we keep alive, just because we are afraid of losing them. We keep chasing after opportunities that are of little worth and spread ourselves so thin that we end up not excelling in any of our projects. Additionally, while we focus on keeping all of our doors open, other, very important doors might close down on us, such as relationships with our partners or family. We need to be aware of this irrational behavior and actively close doors which do not matter. Do not be afraid of giving up on a hobby when it becomes too boring. Refrain from learning multiple languages at once. Have the courage to stop hanging out with friends you grew apart from. I want you to focus on what really matters the most to you. Excel and become the best at what you love. As the famous English saying, a man who chases 2 rabbits catches neither.
What an easily understandable summary. Great job, Vito. I heard that you guys prepared a survey, right? Owen, can you explain it?
I am now going to introduce our survey that we conducted. Our survey is focused around making the decision to come to Japan. So what is the aim for our survey? Well, to put it simply, we wanted to see how foreign students viewed their decision to come to Japan. Making the decision to close the doors, perhaps indefinitely, was it difficult? And how satisfied are they currently with their decision? For our sample group, we have the foreign students within OGU. Next, we're going to be talking about why we asked the questions that we did, which I will go into detail one by one as we move forward. So, the first question I'm going to get into is asking them about other options or doors they were considering before coming to Japan. From those results, you can see that most people were considering other options, like starting to work or perhaps going to university, whether that be in their home country or a different country. We thought it was interesting that everyone had multiple options, doors, available, as it points to the fact that we as humans like having more than one option available. The next question we asked about was about participants' initial satisfaction with their decision to come to Japan. As you can see, it's rather evenly split, and there isn't much that we could gauge from this. However, our next question was asking about people's current satisfaction with their decision to come to Japan, and we can see that most participants rated rather highly on this result. We believe that this is due to participants perhaps succeeding in their goal by perhaps entering a university or doing part-time work, and so they feel like they made the right decision as they have succeeded. The next thing we were curious about is whether the foreign students within OGU felt like their current goal is similar to their original goal when coming to Japan. From the results you can see there is a rather wide range of results. However, the majority of people have rather similar goals to their original when coming to Japan. Now, for those who feel like their goal was similar to their original, how confident were they in achieving the said goal? Well, interestingly, those who had a similar goal to the one that they initially had all responded positively and confidently that they feel like they can achieve said goal. Now, what about concerns that people had? Well, from our survey, we found that the main concerns people had pertained to Japan itself, rather than about losing other opportunities in their home country. So, for example, issues such as racism, doubting your own personal ability, and leaving behind family and friends, and financial worries came up a lot more than missing out on opportunities. Now, there were responses related to missing out on opportunities such as scholarships and work opportunities within their home country. However, the majority were related to Japan itself. Now, why is this? Well, we believe that people tend to focus on the positives and negatives of their decision within a vacuum without looking at how their decision will impact other decisions and other opportunities, doors, within their life. Now, in conclusion, we believe that what we learned from our survey is that most people have multiple choices when making these sorts of decisions, and that we don't like to just have one option available to us. We like to have many. But for those of us who feel like that we are succeeding in our decision, and that our decision was correct, we feel a sense of validation from that, leading to a more positive outlook on our decision-making process. Now, if possible, we would have liked a larger sample size, and after reviewing the results of our survey, we feel like there were questions that we wish we would have asked, specifically pertaining to making regular decisions within our everyday life, so we could compare the two and see how people view these decisions differently in terms of difficulty. And if we conduct this survey again, that is something we will definitely look into.
Thanks, Owen. Now, Rock, would you mind explaining about your experience?
Hi there, it's me, Rock. I'm from Vietnam. I'm studying and living in Japan. Today, I want to share my story of trying to make it all work while study abroad here. So, besides studying, I used to do 2 jobs. So, I split in my time between teaching English and diving into the world of a local izakaya. So, teaching English is the money maker for me. I can make at 1,300 yen per hour, while izakaya promise a taste of real Japanese life, even if the pay is a bit more modest at just 1,050 yen. It's been a ride juggling two part-time jobs, it opening a door to something new and well, unexpected challenge as well. At first, keeping both doors open still seems like a smart move for me. I thought the izakaya job could boost my income, and because two jobs is better than one, that's what I think, and it could give me more about Japanese language and cultures. But it's not that all. Although I could learn Japanese language and slang, making new friends, izakaya turned out to be a classroom for me, but the workload got a little bit heavier and I found myself a bit drained, which affected my health. So before that, I can make, if I only work at teaching English, and here's my income at 140 and 55,000 yen, but my shifts in English didn't decrease since I joined the izakaya, so it just gone from 145 to 135,000 yen per month. Here's another example of keeping both doors open at work and school. So Wito, he's a German student who's learning Japanese in Osaka. He juggling from his academic pursuits and a remote job in a bank account back in Germany. He said that the opportunity to immerse himself in a new culture and gain international exposure was something that he could not pass up. It was definitely a challenge. So, attending classes during the day and handling work responsibility at night took a toll on his energy level and overall well-being. And there were some times when emergency work calls interrupted his classes and he had to miss class sometime. It was a constant struggle to find a balance. So if he invests more time in his study, means less time for work and affecting his chain of getting promotion. On the flip side, dedicating too much time to work mean that he could decrease his academic performance.
In conclusion, this chapter reminds us not to keep too many doors to ourselves. We believe that we keep room for opportunities, but we don't consider what we give up this. So choose what's most important to you, and once you've chosen it, let the other things go, because we cannot handle everything at once. So, are you a critical thinker now? Thank you everyone for taking your time watching this video. Hope you guys like it. And thank you, Mr. John.
You are welcome to.
Okay, bye.